take your best shot. We don't hide from our fears. For the fallen, we shed no tears. We take the pain, use it to make us stronger. Oh, can you see each and every scar? They're all part of who we are. They never fade. Every day they grow longer. We see your faces in our dreams. We hear the sound of a million screams. Close your eyes and say your prayers. Open your eyes and we'll be there. We're here ready to fight. We're gonna light up the night. Gonna give you all you can take. We're gonna make your whole world shake. We're here ready to roll. We're just about to lose control. Coming at you with all we got. We're ready, so take your best shot. Dancing on the edge of the knife. In the balance hangs your life. Better look in front, better look behind you. One of these days, we're gonna find you. We're here ready to fight. We're gonna light up the night. Gonna give you all you can take. We're gonna make your whole world shake. We're here ready to roll. We're just about to lose control. Coming at you with all we got. We're ready, so take your best shot. We're here ready to fight. We're gonna light up the night. Gonna give you all you can take. We're gonna make your whole world shake. We're here ready to roll. We're just about to lose control. Coming at you with all we got. We're ready, so take your best shot.
5,000 units to the Hellraiser who killed these so-called Guardians of the Galaxy.
We got this.
Guys, huddle up! We'll win this together. Hit the music!
Rejoice! You made it just in time for the miracle.
Peter Quill, I am putting you and your crew under arrest for
Actually, can I call you back?
What?
Drax, destroy!
Cadet Gold, what are you doing here?
Aren't you a little young for the Corps?
Aren't you a little old for that hairdo?
Okay, boys, let's start the house!
Welcome, everybody. Look who we have here today. The cast of Guardians of the Galaxy, the video game. Guys, how are ya?
Good.
Fantastic.
Good. Thank you for having us.
Shall we
How are
introduce
you?
ourselves quickly?
Oh, sure.
We'll start with you, Kim.
I'm Kimberly-Sue and I play Gamora.
Lovely. John.
Hello. I'm Jon McLaren, and I play Star-Lord.
Alex.
Hello, I'm Alex Weiner, and I play Rocket.
Rob.
Hi, I'm Robert Montcalm, and I play Groot.
And lucky last, Jason.
And I'm Jason Cavalier, and I play Drax.
How cool is this? Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and thank you guys for coming all at once. I mean, getting you all together at once, it's not an easy task. So let's thank Kim especially. I really appreciate it. Everyone in the chat's blowing up. They're really happy to see you guys. I don't think... Have you guys ever been together since the game's come out? Live on air?
We generally try to stay away from each other.
Yeah, we don't.
Yeah.
I heard it was a really tough shoot.
Oh yeah,
Was it?
these guys were so difficult to work
I know.
with.
Oh God, never
Alex
again.
is such a diva.
Absolutely terrible.
Where's my
Hiding
macchiato?
blueberry scones.
Yeah.
So I guess the first question to all of you is, where did it all start? How did it all begin for you guys? I'd love to know.
To begin at the beginning.
Who wants to go first?
Who wants to go first?
John, you go first.
I'll go first. It started kind of like any other audition, honestly. Very similar to film and TV. You kind of get a casting notice from your agent and or manager, and you go in and audition. If you're out of town like I wasn't in the audition city. I had to put myself on tape. So I did a self-tape for myself to submit for the role, not knowing what it is. Everything was
it's very top secret.
Yeah, shrouded in a lot of secrecy, code names. Even in the script, all the character names were random stuff. I don't even know if we're allowed to say those, so I won't say them. But
So you had no idea. No idea.
No.
I
had
idea.
no idea. Yeah, I had no idea until I did my callback, and a friend of mine was like, "You know what you're auditioning for, right?" And I was like, "I don't know, some game." And she's like, "Guardians of the Galaxy." Oh.
There were little hints like within the material, and you kind of get a gist of it. And then there's the moment where you come in and you're like, "Hey, they're interested," and then they're like, "This is what this is," and then you're like, "Oh, okay, this is it."
It was Robert's line, aka Groot.
Yeah.
That
Anybody
was the giveaway
remember
for
what
me.
it was?
Oh yeah.
Say it.
Are we
Celery
allowed?
is good.
I don't know if we're.
He should probably say it.
Oh, he said it. Yes, there was a lot of celery is good written throughout the script. So a lot of people who went in were like, "The hell is this guy's obsession with celery? Who the hell?"
See,
is
that
this
was
guy?"
me. See, I did not pick up on that. I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
Rob, I've never seen one line done so well so many different times. So kudos to you, brother. No joke.
very
Either.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yep.
I've said before, I'll say it again. If I only had that line to say for the rest of my life, that would be fine by me. That would be a perfect career. I would be
Rob
super happy.
has like the most range I've ever seen
Oh, yeah.
in an actor. It's nuts. He like, what other roles do you play in the game?
Well, I play Cammy. as well.
Yeah,
the
that's
Space
right.
Llama. Yeah, I was super happy to play that. And I won half a World Mind with Lenny Parker, which was a lot of fun to do. And then I ended up doing about a dozen other characters. They didn't list them in the credits, which I'm actually happy for that. But there were a bunch, including like the one line that a certain other superhero yells. That's a one-off liner thing.
That's awesome.
At a certain moment in the game.
Can you say it? Can you? Oh, you can't.
I don't know. I guess. Suffice to say, I did some alien characters. It was the strangest auditions ever. Where Steve, our amazing voice man extraordinaire, he would just get in touch sometimes with a character breakdown, and I'd record like 16 different options. I'd talk through my harmonica. I'd speak only inhaling. I'd give myself like a crazy raspy voice or try to sound like a whale, and he would take a select.
What does that sound like? A whale?
Pretty good. That's a whale.
You know,
is there a whale in here?
You know, it was all just really bizarre stuff, but it was me freaking out in this room just on a microphone, and he would, he'd go for it. So I was happy.
So what's
I would add that not only are you vocally versatile, but you're very physically versatile.
Yes.
As Bob and I work on another game, and he plays like half the characters on that game. And some of them are, enormous, like characters that are supposed to weigh, upwards of 300 pounds. And Bob embodies that.
I love it. I love it. So when did you guys actually find out it was Guardians? Had you already booked the job, or was there that pressure?
I think we had like. Sorry, Alex, go ahead.
No, we got the initial audition, and it's shrouded in mystery. And then once you get in the room, they tell you. And the first table read would probably be the moment that we would know, and yeah.
And do you start to feel the pressure then, or are you trying to block that out?
Oh, I mean, there's definitely pressure. It's, these are legendary characters, right? And beautifully so, the team is giving us, a range to be able to incarnate them in a unique way with a completely new story. So yeah, there's pressure, but there's also a certain sense of excitement, I'd say, for myself, a certain sense of freedom, knowing that we're going on this unique journey and having the gift of being able to bring our own take, to these classic characters. So it's pressure, but a lot of fun too. But you don't take away that pressure. It's still there for sure.
What about for you, Jason?
It was a little different for me because I was in the city where most of the auditions were happening. My experience was slightly different. I did a solo audition the way everyone else did, but I was also part of group auditions because the casting director wanted to try to pair us with different people to see how the banter would play off. So in addition to a solo audition, I also did like three group auditions. In one of them, Robert played Star-Lord.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's a different world.
Oh yeah,
it was interesting.
Thank goodness I did not have to do those group auditions. I didn't have to go through that.
Wow, interesting. Gamer Notes here says, you all did an amazing job. Not one weak performance in all the performances. And
Thank you.
Carter here says, this is the greatest moment in all of history. Well, there you go.
Yes.
That's not bad.
Honestly, it's been so nice. Like, obviously, there's a lot of anticipation leading up to the release of the game. We didn't know how it was going to be received, but honestly, it's been such a treat. Everyone's been so positive and supportive and very vocal about how much they love the game. So
you must be loving the fan art that's coming out and the screenshots in game.
It's been absolutely incredible.
These in-game photographers are amazing.
Oh yeah,
it's unbelievable. I don't know how they do it, honestly.
I'm not gonna lie, I saved them all. I screen grab, I repost. I'm like, this is amazing.
Yeah, it's a 100%. Game within a game. I think it's like there's a huge aspect of that. I think there's people who devote hours who aren't even finishing the game. They're just taking photos for 30 hours or so, and I think that's amazing too.
Yeah.
The virtual photography community is is insane. Like you see it for all types of games too, not just Guardians. Like Guardians, Last of Us is a big one. You see God of War, Spider-Man, like a whole bunch of different games. It's I wish I could do it.
And it's also great for us because we spent a couple of years working on these characters, but we only saw each other in awkward outfits with sensor balls. So to actually see images of kind of like the work we were putting in, the emotion, the physicality, and then on top of like the avatars, basically, it's just really nice. It's like, oh, I know that scene. I know that look. You can just off the photography that's coming out, you can kind of pinpoint where it's coming from.
How many of you guys have played it? Because this has to be the best looking game, most detailed looking game of the year, and I've played every game this year. Dead set, it's unreal. The level design and the art, it's incredible. How many of you have beaten it or played it?
So Alex and I, and I have been streaming it on Twitch. I think we're about the same spot, right, Alex?
We are. I'm trying to get to the end before you. I'm trying my best.
It's a race.
Actually, when this game got released, I had gastro, like a really bad gastro. And I won't go into details. I don't think you guys want to know about the details.
Literally.
But I was like bedridden. I couldn't do a simple task. So I was lying in my bed and my wife, I was like, hey, do you want to play it? And she's not a gamer. And she's like, okay, I'll play it. And we spent 4 nights, like 3 hours a night. I'm in bed, like sick. And I'm like, yeah, this is great. Go check that door. I don't know. And she had a great time playing it. So I didn't beat the game. I mean, I watched her beat the game. So by accessory, I beat the game.
Yeah, that's how I feel about watching Jon and Alex play on Twitch. But I'm going to go crash Jon's party next week and I'll just play.
Come
via
join
him.
Jon, what's it like playing as yourself?
It's as myself or
or with yourself.
I stopped myself. I was like,
I'll say it for you.
It's a little surreal at first, honestly. It kind of it breaks a different wall when you're playing the game that I'm not used to, right? Because it's you're hearing yourself. I'm also hearing the other people on this cast like that I've worked with, and it's you almost view the game in a different way, and instead of kind of seeing directly what's in front of me in the game, I'm almost taken back to the volume that we shot in, and like when these scenes happen, I'm actually just picturing them happening in real time, at the studio, which is really bizarre, and it kind of takes you back, or it takes you out of the game into another place, which is a really interesting way to play the game, which has been really, really cool.
Was this your first time this is a question for all of you, for motion capture? Had any of you done motion capture before?
I actually had never done any voice work or video game work. This was my first time. Yeah. And I was terrified. I didn't know what I was doing. But I just chose to like overcommit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if I'm going to play the deadliest woman in the galaxy, I have to put my fear aside and just like throw myself in. Yeah.
What about you, Rob?
I've been very fortunate. My video games is my bread and butter. It's what I do the majority of the time. As Jason mentioned, I'll see him on Friday. I'm working with him on a game on Friday that I've been on for almost 8 years.
Tell us all about it, guys.
It's already out. I don't think
that one's already. Yeah. That's For Honor, which came out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I did about half the playable characters in that game. I voiced a character in that game. Yeah, it's been insane.
Great game.
Thanks. I mean, I love the combat in the game, and it's been a wild ride. That's what got me into stunt work. It's what had me start working with Jason. It kind of led to a lot of my career. But I've worked on, I think at this point I clocked it at about 40 games that I've worked on in under 8 years. So and a lot of those have been motion capture or stunt work or full performance capture with the facial rig or voice work. So this game though was my most fun game to work on because the team was phenomenal. The writing was out of this world.
Yeah.
And there was just it felt different. For having worked on so many games, there was just something different about this game that really felt magical and special. And then you're just kind of holding on to the hope that it's like, please let the fans see that come through and actually have the same reaction that we did. Because it as I've said before to other people, this game was really about this ragtag group of people coming together and becoming a family. And that's how it felt, getting to go in and work with these guys every couple of months or sporadically, and then it was always like coming home. It always felt good to go back to the studio to shoot. It was it was a dream come true.
What about you, Jason? Because I know you've done a lot of stunts and voice work. Was this first time mocap?
This is the first time acting for a game. Yeah. Voice work, the only voice work I'd ever done prior to this was voicing over my own performances in various films or television for ADR or whatnot. But this was the first time playing a character. And like Bob already said, we've been together on the sword fighting game for about 8. It feels longer. I thought it was more like 10 years.
You're at about 8.5. You were on the 4 hours
before you did. I started as a performer, being one of the stunt people, just taking hits and performing various choreographed routines for the game, and then eventually graduated to stunt coordinating it. But this is unique for me. This was completely different.
Did any of the stunt background come into work here on this game?
Surprisingly, not that much. I would have been more than happy to do the fighting stuff, but the navigation, I'm going to be pretty honest. I'm almost 60, and my skeleton can't handle navigation for 8 hours too much anymore. So, yeah, I'm kind of glad I missed out on that. I'll be happy to do the fights or the stunts, but just the infinite amount of traversal, left, right, back, forward. Oh God, that is so grueling. Yeah, it's tough. I'm going to mention though, I had my stunt brother, Max Severia was my double for the game, and he did fantastic. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Jon?
Yes, I've done voice work before, a little bit on Far Cry 3. I did various voices in Far Cry 5, but Guardians was my first full-blown, full performance motion capture experience. It was a lot of fun. I had a great time. It's kind of like Kim said, you just kind of, an opportunity like this, you just kind of got to dive in head first and
you don't
make it happen, make
yourself.
it work. Yeah. Just go for it.
And same for you, Alex. How did you find the suit? Was it a little bit too tight?
Always too tight.
Alex had to fit in a raccoon-sized suit.
Yeah, they
so
had to.
I was going to say, yeah.
Squeeze in there.
I would spend my nights in a wine bottle, and I would just compress. I would put magic spells on myself. It was pretty crazy. No, I love the suit. I love it. It's look. I mean, I'm similar to Jon actually, and a few others. I definitely haven't done as much mocap or PCap as Rob has or Jason has. I started very much as a film actor, got into voice work, animation, commercials, dubbing. I still do a lot of that stuff. And then kind of got into video games and did Deus Ex, did a lot of VO stuff, and then started doing a little bit of mocap stuff. But this was completely different. I mean, this was like, encapsulating a character for this long, being on the volume. And it's the first time I kind of realized how much imagination has to come into play here. It's kind of like being kids, right? In your driveway, running around and you're chasing a dragon, and you can see that dragon and the mom calls and says, time for dinner, and you go right out of it. So I love that. And I thought it was super, super freeing to do it. It was such a great experience. And also first time working like on a volume like this, but also with 4 other people like all the time that have become, I'd say my family, or part of my family. So pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing, guys. All of you did a phenomenal job. Do you guys have the bug now? I know, Rob, you've done a lot. You've already got the bug, but for the others here, do you guys have the bug now? You want to do more mocap?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm itching to get back. It's so much fun.
It's the best feeling. And also for me as a woman, getting to do what I love to do, which is act, without any sort of pressure as to what I look like. I don't need to be a certain weight or have clear skin. I don't have to get my makeup done. I don't have to be in a tight dress all day or heels. I get to just play. And that was what felt, I mean, it was freeing for me, because then I just got to focus on my work, you know? And so yeah, I guess when I was doing it, I mean, I still feel the same way. I would do it for the rest of my life, like exclusively, just do, hands down.
There you go.
But also, we had amazing material to work with. Like the script was so insanely good.
Yeah.
That like that kind of writing, it's such a treat.
And shout out to the soundtrack. What a banging soundtrack.
Oh yeah.
God.
Steve
and
Johan. Yeah.
Yeah.
They nailed it, son.
That Star-Lord band soundtrack, I've been having that on for the last 3 weeks.
It's so good.
It's awesome. So did you guys, for the prep of this and while you were shooting, did you go back and watch the films, the actual Marvel films, or did you stay right away? What was your approach? We'll start with you, Alex.
Yeah, I'm happy you asked that question, because I stayed away. I just wanted to, and I was a huge fan of the MCU. I've been a huge just superhero fan in general. But I made a choice as an actor portraying the role. I said, especially given that this was a unique take, you know, and they said that from the beginning. They said, look, we're doing our own version here. So we want to inspired by the comics, inspired by the MCU, but it's got to be unique. So I said, no, I want to start with me, and I want to work with the people I have around me and the material, as Kim is saying, you know, just using the fountain of, you know, of material that we had at that time. Yeah.
Kim?
Yeah, Mary did.
John?
Oh, sorry.
Anyone? Go ahead.
I was just gonna to parlay off what Alex was saying. Like Mary, the narrative director, the executive narrative director, and her team put together such an incredible like package of backstory for our world, and it was like made so very clear that Eidos, Square, and Marvel, they wanted it to be completely separate from anything that they have done before. MCU and comic books. They really wanted us to take our time with it, to have fun with it, and to make it our own, which is for an actor a dream come true, you know, to just go in there and play and do your thing and try things. And, you know, sometimes it fails, sometimes it doesn't, but just to have the freedom and the ability to just dive right in and really make it your own is you can't ask for anything more as an actor, honestly.
Yeah, Eidos Montreal, they had at the end of weeks, they would have the writers sit around for beer o'clock, and they would go through the material that they had been working on, and they would invite us, if we were shooting, to come and have a beer and try the new scenes that they'd written.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
What was amazing is they would perform it as well.
They were good.
They were great.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is something that often lacks. Is writers sometimes are writing in a vacuum. They don't actually stand it up on his feet. They don't try the dialogue out. They don't see how it plays. And then you can't know how it's going to sound unless you've actually said it. And so this team would just get together and actually sound it out and see what hit and what didn't. And it was just, being a fly on the wall, even in the room, was amazing, just to see the passion that these people had for their project. Because not everybody has that. Not every company you work for is going to have a team that's like, we're trying to make something new here. They felt that way.
Was that the most surprising thing about the whole experience for you guys, or was there other elements that were surprising?
Surprising that I didn't get replaced, I think was one of my.
I think we all felt that. Yeah.
Oh
God.
Vin Diesel didn't call up.
Yeah, well, this is the thing, right? I've worked on so many games where I might be doing the main character up to a point, and then they're like, "Yeah, we really need an American name." And you're like, okay, great, fantastic.
Yeah.
And then you're kind of just out of it. So you might have done like all the body for the cinematics, all the facial, all the acting choices, but then you're dubbed. And nobody will know that you did it. And you're like, okay. So I went to work every day with a healthy expectation that I was just going to be fired from the get-go. And even when we did the interviews for the art book, they were like, so how'd you feel when you got the part? And I'm like, I'm still not sure.
Still not sure.
It's like, you're doing the interview for the book right now. I can tell you have the part. I'm like, I'll wait till my name is in the credits. You know,
Although there was There was a very scary time, if you guys remember, when we kind of like came in and we did that initial, I think they were calling it a proof of concept, and it actually ended up in the game. A little tidbit for people watching, the lipless scene. That actually ended up in the game. We all came and did that, and it was just kind of like an initial, I think it was an initial thing just to show Marvel for Eidos to be like, hey, this is who we want. This is how we want the game to feel. What do you think? And then, so we shot that, and then it was kind of like radio silence for a while, like just waiting to hear if it's like, are we cool? Do we get to come back to work? Do you love us? Do you hate us? Do I have a job? It was very
these
stressful.
things take time, right? These things are such long things. And, that's the thing. Like, I think Kim was telling it another time, was like, hurry up and wait, right? That is the mantra of the actor. And, you get all ready, you go do this thing. And then we forget that there's a whole bunch of other moving parts that are not related to us that need to get done. And for us, it's scary because we're sitting there at home just hoping something comes from it, right?
The team's massive. Video games, it's massive. And like a huge shout out to the animators who made us look good on this game.
Damn good.
They made you look really good.
Thank you, Caitlin.
Yeah.
The lip syncing and the facial work is the best I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it really captured a lot of the subtle things that were going on in our faces.
Oh yeah,
it was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I was really blown away.
And there's behind the scenes footage sometimes of just these four, especially doing the banters, where there was like a special cut behind the scenes footage of just them doing banters and breaking down into laughter a lot of the time.
Oh yeah, it was hard to not.
Shout out to Simon for those.
Yeah. Thanks, Simon.
The blooper reels.
I think I saw
he would make blooper reels.
I think I saw some footage of some of you guys dancing in the suit. That was very funny.
Oh
yeah.
That the second you're in that funky suit, you're dancing.
You have to dance.
Also because when we were in the unit, we had a massive screen in front of us where we can see our little stick figures, so we could see the data, and so I couldn't help but dance.
So there was one day where, when you start a day like that, you do something called a range of motion. Sorry, correct me, Rob, if I'm wrong, but they just got to get a feel for your body, and you register it. And you would always end that with a walk around the space. So one day I got to the sound engineer, Johan Boudreau, and I said, hey man, today I want you to put on this song. I want you to put on Staying Alive by the Bee Gees. And when we do the walk around, I'm going to go, hit it, Johan. And then he didn't tell anybody. And then we just broke out into a Staying Alive walk.
So good.
No one knew it was coming. And it was very funny.
So it's not filmed. I'd love to see that actually.
I'm sure there's footage somewhere. Yeah, I'm sure it's somewhere.
Everything's filmed. There's this, we were doing a scene. It's towards the end of the game. And I had to get up and charge at Raker, who wasn't in the unit. I'm just Gamora's livid. She's so angry. And I got up and tripped on my own feet and fell head first. And no one budged.
The best part was nobody moved.
No one.
We're in the background. We're just whatever.
No. No one helped me up, but they ended up using, Darryl was, our cinematic director was telling me that they actually used my fall because it was so good. They used it later in the game with Nikki. So, but everything's filmed. They have all of that.
Come on, Marvel. We need to see this footage.
We need to see this footage.
So what was it like for you guys seeing the character for the first time, fully animated? Do you remember that moment at all? Was it the trailer? Was it?
Well, so throughout, while we were shooting, so we were shooting in Montreal every month for a week or so. And whenever we would go back, they would show us some clips that that the animators were working on. So we kind of got to see the work in progress. And so that was amazing to just see how the whole machine works and the different levels of, because it takes a while to get a polished version.
Yeah.
So yeah, we did get to see.
I straight up got emotional the first time I saw it.
Really? Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember the exact scene. It was the scene where the Guardians are there to sell a monster to Lady Hellbender, And Star-Lord steps up and he's like, "Hey, you may have heard of me, blah blah blah," and she's like, "No." and then he says, "Oh, well, now you do." And he flips the card up, and there was like something in the face, especially the smile, and I borderline broke down seeing it. I was like, "Oh my god, that's me."
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom keeps writing on every time I post something about the Guardian. She's like, "Oh, you look so great." I'm like it's me, but it's not, Mom. Like, it's very cute.
Guys, if you've got any questions for this incredible cast, send them through now. We're happy to answer them. This cast is Flark and awesome, might I say.
Flark, right.
Were you guys looking at reviews when the game was about to launch? Or were you staying away? Because I know that's it's an interesting time for devs.
No.
What he said.
Yes, of course. Yes.
Oh yeah.
I was more scared of the comments on like YouTube for just. I was more scared of that than I was of reviews, and I don't know. I feel like YouTube and comments can be a little bit more of a dicey place to be. But
yeah,
I looked at some reviews and I was very pleasantly surprised. You know, we're good.
I love a good and bad review. I love being ripped apart too. Like it's just an opinion, but for me, there's no such thing as bad press. It's just like as long as people are talking about it.
Yeah. Because last time I checked,
that's on a good day. That's when I'm feeling really good and confident.
Go ahead, John. What were you going to say?
Oh, I was just going to say, I think in hindsight, we've all been incredibly fortunate with how this has resonated amongst the fans, the players of the game, the comics, of the Marvel universe. Everybody's been absolutely incredible. I've straight up mind blown at the response, not only the game, but how nice people have been with complimenting the performances, and just thank you to you guys. Like it's been unreal.
Last time I checked Metacritic, there wasn't a single negative review in the red, which is very rare for a video game. So that's a kudos to the devs and to you guys and to everyone involved. So but I think it just hits on everything: soundtrack, writing, performances, game. It just hits everything you want to hit for a game. So it's just one thing; it's everything. Alex and John, how's the Twitch going for you guys?
Good.
How's that been?
It's been great.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's been.
Oh, go
Sorry,
ahead.
Alex, you go ahead. No, you go.
No, you. No,
you go. Come on.
No.
You go.
Welcome to behind the scenes. I just want to say that John and I would like talk on screen, and then we would talk just as much off camera. We were just like, what you're seeing here is just a taste.
Yeah.
It was great.
We actually we did a stream the other day. Alex was in town, and he came over to my place, and he hopped on my stream, and he was sitting right here, and it was a blast, man. But
he
the
whooped my ass in Mario Kart. I'll just say it.
What can I say?
Bad. I mean, I was jet lagged from my 4-hour drive, so I'll just say that to get to town.
Excuses.
Twitch has been amazing. Twitch has been like it's something that John and I both started actually together. We were like earlier in the year we decided to do this, and just playing the game live and having fans come in, and I think it must be a cool experience for people to see that. It's cool for me to play the game and to interact with the characters that I've been playing with for 4 years. But I think it's really beautiful when you can have another layer, which is, the viewers interacting, watching. And I will say that even though, I knew the story, it was part of the game and during its development, I am still equally surprised and equally having a great time playing it, because it's just filled with detail and it's just a really fun experience. So it's been a really great experience overall.
Jason, when's your stream happening?
I don't even know what that is. That was going to be my next question. What is this streaming thing you're talking about?
Oh, man.
What is it actually? I'm curious.
We'll send you a link, Jason. We'll send you.
All right.
We'll send you a brief.
They stream themselves playing the game to all the fans.
Oh, okay. And then you
Yeah.
comment on top of it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Basically what's happening right now.
Yeah.
Except you're not playing. I mean,
Except
I
they're not playing the
but
game, yeah.
I can only play for like an hour at a time, and then I got to go do other things, you know.
Yeah.
I guess it's kind of like going to see a play, and then instead of being quiet, the audience can yell at the people performing on stage.
Whoa.
And in my crowd, they tell you to hydrate nonstop, so I'm consistently drinking a lot of water.
You got to get rid
And
of that.
where are you at? Are we not allowed to say that? Like, can you tell me what chapter you're on?
I'm at
Just
the
so I
end.
don't feel so bad.
No, we're both at the end of the game, I think. John
Yeah, I
and
think we're both chapter 14,
Yeah.
15.
Can I ask you guys something? Is there anything you went, oh my God, like there's so much I forgot as I'm playing through. There's so much I forgot.
I think a lot of the stuff that, like, if I don't remember, it was mostly stuff in like banters while battling.
Yeah.
While you're in a battle, like a lot of that stuff for us was
That's VO.
shot.
Or is that
yeah,
mocap?
those
Yeah,
shot
the VO
very,
stuff.
VO,
We
but
were-
with facial.
Yeah, and we were together in the units, but divided. So we all had our stations, but because I mean,
Yeah.
part of this game, I think the reason it's so good is because we get to feed off of each other.
Oh,
You know?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So having
Which is so
being able-
rare.
and which is so rare.
I was going
right?
to say,
It's like-
Rob, yeah.
So
It's
we
very,
were lucky
very rare,
to
yeah.
have to be able to do everything together.
Oh yeah.
There was one point, Jason, though, where that caught me off guard, and it's not because I didn't see the scene coming. I knew the scene very well, and I'll skirt around it so I don't spoil anything. But there's a part in the game dealing with the promise, and I'll just say that I won't go into too much detail, but I will say that it's a big scene. I knew it was coming. I knew what scene it was. I'm in it. Obviously, I knew what it was. And as I was playing the scene out, it caught me off guard, and I actually started tearing up. And it was intense. I was just completely caught off guard that it would even affect me in that way, having shot it. And I think that is, I gotta give
scene.
kudos and props to Eidos for putting that together. The entire team, from gameplay, animation, every inch of that game, it speaks volumes to how well they did. So
yeah, that's what's continually surprising me is the level of detail in the facial animation.
Yeah.
They really went all out. I was like,
yeah,
this is
it's incredible.
Honestly, yeah, it's one of the best I've seen, and I do this for a living. I play games for a living, so I would know. Noctober says, I hope you guys come back for a sequel.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's what we'll say. Thank you.
Do these.
A man can dream.
Yeah. So if Marvel calls you up, or Bill, or whoever's in charge there, they say, hey guys, do you mind coming back for a sequel another 4 years? Is that all right? What's your answer on the phone?
I'll think about it.
Call my agent.
Yeah.
Let me
see
check
if I
with
can
Cammy.
fit you in. Yeah.
If Noctober could get on the phone, that'd be great.
How does this feel, guys? You guys are now the Guardians for me, the number one Guardians. You're the canon Guardians. How does that feel now? Come on.
And
I mean, it's beyond words, right? It's an honor. It's just an honor. It's a divine honor to have people say that, and it's like John. It's like we're all saying. It's just like this isn't possible without comments like that, and the players and the fans, like, and given the love. The love goes into the game by the devs when it's made, and then the love's given back by the people who play it and who spend their hard-earned money.
Well said, Alex. Well said.
Can
I
I
came up with that right now? Thank you.
Can I ask?
Give the man an award.
I do want to shout out Sarah, who plays Lady Hellbender. She was fantastic as well. She's not here, but she's here in spirit. She was great.
Yes.
I was having drinks with her last night.
Well, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's doing super well, and I mean, she loved working on this game. And
she's a force. She's a force because she's like a petite woman playing this like
oh my god,
mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we would see the transformation. I think we all saw it. Like, you're on set, and I've actually I know Sarah. I studied at Jill Plouffe in Montreal with her like 10 years ago. We've known each other for a while, and then we reconnected through this game. And she's not as tall as Lady Hellbender, we'll put it that way. But it's like when she gets into character and the voice comes out, and you just see her get taller, like in real life, and it was insane. Like, I was scared. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
amazing.
I think the whole cast they're all just so incredible.
Everyone. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can't do that she probably, as sad as it is, wouldn't be casted in real life for that role. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's just another amazing thing. Rob, for you, seeing that you've got such an extensive background with this stuff, what was the most challenging part for you on this game compared to other games?
It was interesting. The mocap volume at Eidos Montreal is arguably the smallest one that I've worked in. Sometimes you're used to working in these huge spaces where you can be doing wire work from freestanding structures inside of the buildings. This was almost like being in somebody's living room. It was a small space.
Really?
And a larger living room, but still, like, the headspace isn't super tall. You could probably jump and touch the ceiling. It was a small space, and you're not allowed even to be at the edge of the space because the cameras can't pick up at a certain distance. So your space gets limited even more. And then when there's 5 of you, plus when all the other guest stars were in with us, the space gets smaller again. And obviously you've played the game, you've seen the game, you know how expansive the universe is. And we're trying to Alex's background right now is a perfect example. It's like you're trying to play picturing this galaxy before you. And my concern when I started was, oh no, this is going to be really limiting. And it was the reverse. And now I've fallen in love with that space because what ended up happening is it became a really intimate space. You felt really close to everybody around you.
Wow.
And the scene that John brought up before, which we are vaguely just calling the promise scene, that was a very emotional scene. I remember just standing around in the group and just having to look from one person to the next, and you're very close. The camera rigs we had were great too, the head cams, because I've worn ones where you're trying to act over to somebody else, and this is very small, so you can still see somebody's facial expression, have an intimate connection with them. And it was nice to be able to look across at Jason, a man who pretty much started my career, and to be able to have an intimate back and forth where you're looking at somebody and there's a lot of love there. It's nice. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that gets lost when you're in the middle of a huge room. And this really felt like, we filled the space.
And we really, I'll speak for myself, but I really felt taken care of by Darryl, our director, and Caro, our producer. Like, they just, we would get like a stack of scenes, like 800 pages.
Oh, yeah.
To prep in a week. And sometimes it just wasn't doable to really prep that well. So it's like, there was so much trust and a feeling of safety where it's like, I know that Darryl's got my back and that Caro is there for whatever my needs are. And like, it's just show up and be present and play off of your fellow actors, and trust that even if you're confused because everything's shot, sometimes we'd go from chapter 14 to chapter 1 to chapter 8, and it was so confusing. And it's like, where are we in the universe right now? And like, Darryl always knew, he always like brought us back on track. He was just like such a great, he's an actor's director. He like speaks our language. Yeah. And, it just felt like a family. It literally, like, what the Guardians, their journey was also like our personal journeys as actors working on this project.
I love the picture that John posted of all 5 of you in the mocap doing the pose. There's just something wholesome about it.
Yeah. T-pose!
T-pose!
Oh, that's amazing.
Actually, I got to give credit. I think I got to give credit to Kim. I think she actually originally took that photo.
Yeah, that was at the old studio.
Yeah, we were all snapping.
Early.
We were all snapping photos all the time and then sharing them amongst each other. And I think that was one of yours, Kim. So I got to give that one to you. And yeah, we went through, I don't know if we're allowed to say, I think 3 different mocap studios, I believe.
Was it 3?
Yeah.
I believe
It was
because
3.
they were doing a bunch of renovations on the studio and stuff. So we had like the original one. I think there was a temporary one, and then the one that we ended up with by the end. So
Yeah.
kudos to Idols for keeping that together.
Bad Wolf here says, how long did it take to record and act the dialogue in this game? 4 years.
I mean, from start to finish, yeah, it was almost 4 years. Yeah.
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 I mean,
Long
it's on and off. Like, obviously there was the COVID pandemic, so we were shut down for 3 months, and then after that, it was like a week every month. Would you guys agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. After
We would
the
get the
pandemic,
script about.
It's
We would get the script about 2 weeks ahead of time in most cases, and then 2 weeks later we were on the set and performing it.
yeah.
So you didn't know where the end. Sorry to cut you off, but you didn't know where the ending
go
was
ahead.
going. Where each and every week
we had like a general overview. Like they had kind of a breakdown of or overview of the entirety of the story. But a project this big, they're writing as they're developing as well. So
yeah,
you
those
have an
writers, they're
overall-
machines.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah,
incredible.
they're machines.
Oh my
It's
God.
insane.
So the major story beats, but in terms of like straight dialogue and the sometimes the in between things between major story moments, you don't really always have a clear idea.
Yeah.
But that's where Darryl and Mary was often in the room too. Again, the narrative director. That's where you got to give thanks to them because they really keep you on track. And if you have any questions, they're there at your disposal to really help you break things down on the day if things aren't just quite clicking the way that you want them to.
I'm going to give a shout out to Catalina.
Catalina. Okay,
Because
so that was the
she
thing
would
that
give
the
us a
guys
heads
did a
up.
lot.
She'd give
Sorry,
us a
Jason.
heads up if anything heavy was coming, that we
Yeah.
should pay special attention to.
Yeah.
She was our on-set mom. She would just.
She really
the
was.
best.
I love them.
Kim and I had a fun thing. We would do something called Seal, where I don't know how
man.
this came up. We had this game that, this mocap, you might as well mocap it. Anyways, I would look at Kim and I would go, Seal. And then she, like, if I said it to Kim or she said it to me, we had to drop what we were doing. If you're sipping a coffee, you're eating a hot dog, doesn't matter. You got to get on the ground. You got to pretend to be a seal on the ground. And then it's so stupid. And then we started doing it outside of the work. We started sending each other like video messages, like, in Toronto, going like, Seal.
I would get a text message like, Seal. It's like, shit.
Oh,
I did
guys.
it on the sidewalk.
Seal.
once.
You need
There's
to
a code
share
of
some of
honor.
those guys on socials.
Oh yeah.
We need to see some of those. Oh man.
Oh wait, I think Kim's.
I was sealing.
There you
Oh, Did you seal me? Do I have to seal now?
No, I got sealed. It's okay.
Oh,
It's
okay.
okay. I'm gonna get you later though.
Did you get sealed, Jason?
I refuse to participate in such nonsense.
It was like a Gamora versus Rocket thing.
Yeah.
You
Adios.
need to tell the blueberry scone story, guys.
Oh, please do.
Yeah.
They would
Who
hide
wants
the
to tell
one
it?
blueberry scone that came in our breakfast box from the director, who obviously loved them.
Every
That was
day.
a fun thing to watch.
You
Trying
should
to
tell it,
figure out
Jason.
where you guys would put it.
He's
every
doing
day.
it.
Go ahead.
No, you should.
Oh,
you should
that's
tell it.
that's it.
Well, yeah.
That's great.
Darryl, the director, loved blueberry scones, and we found out that he loved them, and there was only one blueberry scone in the breakfast tray. So John and I, or Kim, like I think all of us, we would all just take it, hide it somewhere, or like take a bite out of it, like go put it somewhere. Yeah, and then eventually we started leaving each other notes with this. I think there was the Tomb Raider Panther.
Yeah.
We started writing like letters
P.
to each other. Anyways,
You
that's
guys
the
had a
scone
ball.
story.
I can
We
tell.
had way too much fun.
Oh God.
Eidos Montreal's in here, and they.
Hey.
What's,
Are we in trouble?
No,
Yeah,
you're all
doing?
fired. Apparently, it says here. No.
Oh, great.
Shit. It was bound to
About
happen.
time. Yeah.
Assassins are on their way.
The Marvel snipers are coming.
God.
What's something you've learned as an actor working on this game that you'll keep with you in all your future projects? Start with you.
Sorry.
Kim.
Oh wow.
I was goofing off. Can you repeat the question?
What's something you've learned as an actor working on this game that you'll keep with you in your future projects?
Oh.
I think-
I
I
would
think-
say, Okay, so I'll get out of the way. I just want to say again, I've said it to the cast before, but I just want to say thanks for the trust, guys.
Yeah.
It's invaluable to have actors that are there for you when you're trying to give it your all, and they're right there. They're right there with you in the moment. It's the other half of the equation that people often don't think about. And I had it with this gang. Couldn't have done it without you guys. So I'm going to say it again.
Likewise, Jason. Thank you. Yeah, I think
Well,
it comes down to trust and just depending on your castmates. And we all held each other to, you know, a high standard of work ethic. And we all came in each and every day with absolute passion in our hearts for this project. And, you know, it's, I don't know why, but you don't always get that level of trust and openness with castmates. But like, just to mimic what Jason said, each and every one of us had it between each and everyone on the cast. Like it was incredible. And then to have other characters come in that aren't always there day to day. And it was just a welcoming atmosphere that we created. And I think that is so important on any project, because sometimes you work on projects where it's not the most welcoming environment. And, you know, I think it shows in the end product. And with this, that's something that I always want to take with me on any project that I work on, is just to be open with people and, you know, make them feel welcome, because I think it really glows. It really glows in the end. And I think it shows in this game. So
Kim?
Yeah.
Well, I feel like I made some new friends, and those friendships are going to last a very long time.
Yep.
And I think if you guys have the camaraderie, you five, then it translates in the game, doesn't it?
And I think
100%.
that's why it's so good, is because like what was, for it to translate, it had to exist. And it did. And it does still. Yeah.
I've never had a team of people go to bat for me to be on set so much. Because it's very easy with Groot to go, he's the tree. He says a line in the scene. He just sits there. We don't need to bring him in on the day to have him in the group. We can fill him in another time. And even like the very first time I ever met Jon, Jason brought him in to do an audition at one of the casting houses. It was the first time we met. And the second Jon walked in the room, I was like, oh yeah, that's Star-Lord. Totally. And we ended up getting along right away. And the main thing the whole time was everybody kept saying like, oh, we should bring Robert in. Robert should be there. He should actually be there on all the day. He should be there for the shoot. And like all four of these guys here, they were all went to bat for me. And I'll never forget sitting down next to Alex on one of like the first days of shooting. And I think we were doing the scene where it was the waking up scene, right? Where they all come out of with Cosmo.
Oh yeah.
And I'm sitting next to you, and you turn and you look at me, and you're like, "I'm so happy that you're here, because I can actually look at someone and play off." He's like, "My character pretty much plays off of Groot all the time."
Oh, they're best buddies.
Yeah.
I mean, And I just want to. Oh no,
go for it.
But I just want to shout something out about Robert, and this is in the art book if you read it. But it just to go off of what he's saying here, it was instrumental to have him there, and have all of us there. We're a team. We need to be together. The writers were so amazing. They would put the actual translation of Groot's lines on the script. You know, so he had to know what he was saying. Wow. I had to know what he was saying too.
Yeah.
There were times where I didn't even read the translation. Robert would say, "I am Groot," and I would know exactly what he meant.
That's what I felt playing the game as well.
There you go. I mean, and you can't get that if he's not there. So it's instrumental.
Brilliant, Rob. Brilliant.
Thanks. Yeah. I mean, it was just fun because it's like I found everybody in the team tried to push forward every other member of the team. Like there was nobody trying to be like, oh, this is my scene, or like I'll try to take focus in a scene. Everybody else was like, they're the most important people to me. I want them in the front. I want them to have a moment.
And we all had scenes where we struggled because they were either very emotionally charged or very wordy. And every time, like one of us would be like beating ourselves up, and the rest is like, no, you got this, probably, but you got this. yeah, there's a lot of love and support in the room.
There are a lot of heavy scenes in this. How did you guys go with them? Did you get emotional, like physically emotional? Were there tears? Like, how did that
yeah.
work? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I had a very unique position as Star-Lord, and I'm super grateful to have it in that I got to be in the room for pretty much everyone's emotional scene, even outside of like the immediate Guardians. So I got to experience all these incredibly brilliant actors and work across them. And yeah, there was multiple occasions where I can remember Darryl saying cut, and you'd come out of the scene and the room is just silent, and it's silent because you'd look around and like, Darryl would be welling up, Mary's crying, Carol's like sniffling tears, I'm crying, the person across from me is crying, like it was
crying.
Everybody's crying. But it honestly, it was the most incredible thing to see and to experience. It's something that I've just never experienced something like that before.
Yeah,
it was
I
incredible.
think like it really adds to the game and the story. To like, the humor is inherent. It's there. Everyone expects it, but I don't know if the fans were expecting those emotional beats. So the writers did such a great job at like, also like, when do you ever get to like, inside of Rocket's brain and like experience what he's going through, and Drax opening up about his family, and Gamora about stuff that I won't reveal, spoiler, but it's like we had these great opportunities to flesh out these characters, because how long do you guys remember how long the cinematic scenes are? Like 5 hours?
There's that one on YouTube that there's like 13 hours of.
But I think the cinematic scenes.
Cinematic
like
specifically?
Yeah.
Oh, I
About
think
5
it's-
hours?
Yeah, I think it's about 5 hours.
If you're following
5.5.
one path. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's just a lot of room for discovery, which, I mean,
That's the dream.
That's one of the things about video games, right? I mean, you get more time, and you have more of a range, and you can take the time to meet these characters.
Yeah.
And live with them, spend time with them, hang out with them.
Did you guys, question here from a fan, did you have a rap party or anything like that, guys?
Many.
No. we had,
Oh, we had,
many parties, but no. Well, I mean, it was still COVID. It was so tricky because we had to be very, very careful. So we didn't really get to have a rap party. We had a lot of like Zoom calls with everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had like our own personal. I remember like when in the heat of COVID, like we would be in the hotel and we would be the only people in an entire hotel, like hanging out.
Yeah. And we couldn't really
It was
hang out with
insane.
anyone else. So we would just hang out with each other. Ugh,
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, John, Kim, and I would carpool from Toronto to Montreal together. So we'd have our little, we were together. We were in our
Did that
our
for a little while.
and then,
Yeah.
Wow.
John and I would trash the hotel rooms, and Idos would pay for it. And
Yeah. Official rap party though, no, it's not possible with an entire company during COVID.
No.
It's too much.
Denzel here says the impregnable fortress line was gold. The game was filled with so many funny quips fitting the lore of the galaxies. I got to say, it's one of the funniest games I've played as well, hands down.
Yeah, it was a lot. Yeah, sometimes we burst out laughing.
Kim, your line. You're shivering. Could you say you're shivering? That's the line. I love that line.
Shivering titwitches. It's cold.
I love that line.
Oh, there's so many. So many.
Yeah.
Also, like every time Drax just doesn't get.
Oh my god.
Doesn't get what's happening.
Oh,
He's so literal.
So good.
I couldn't keep a straight face with Jason, man. Jason, you were. I tell it to you all the time, but like, I could not look at him sometimes. Yeah.
Jason,
Yeah,
you
same
were.
with you. I laughed at
awesome.
everything Alex said. He was cracking me up. I ruined so many takes because he'd crack me up.
Jason
we would be
Jason
like-
has the most infectious laugh you've ever heard.
Oh
If you
my
get
God.
him going,
Huge.
it's incredible.
And we're like this. we're like this, trying not to ruin the take, because then he's like, you have to start from the top again. It's like we're like,
yeah.
Oh, Jason, you killed it, brother. Just quietly.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Ninja here says, do you prefer your characters over the interpretation in the movie? I really appreciate how the writers brought over a lot of good stuff from the comics and incorporated into their backstory. I think 100% you do.
I don't prefer. I think. Oh, sorry. I don't prefer. I think that essentially there was some nods to the films in our game, but it's little portions of the character were used as springboards, and we had an awful lot more time than they do in the films to develop certain areas. So
yeah, and we're all fans. Like, I'm a massive fan of everything that Marvel does. MCU, comics, the video games. It's just we're just playing in a different space, and it's just an honor to be there. Like, I would never in a million years as a fan knock anything that Marvel has done. I love it all. So
I think I had a huge fanboy moment when I put in the game the first time and the Marvel logo comes up. And I went, because I usually get that tingle when I'm in the film in the cinema watching the films, but then it comes up and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm actually part of this. It was like, it was something special for me anyway.
Holy Flark.
Yeah.
Who came up with Flark, by the way? I'm guessing
the
it
writers.
was
The writing team. The writing team. Yeah.
They had very creative, like, swear words.
Yeah.
They got really creative.
Like,
shout out to Alex.
I had to say the most, probably a lot of them. But I mean, the writers came up with, I think there's probably 30 unique swear words in this game, something like that. 20. I mean, there's monologues where Rocket will just go off and like you're hearing, and the just the way they come off. I personally find Flark extremely infectious. I have started saying it in my real life, and so
yeah, 100%.
Flark, yeah.
Flark, yeah.
Mark
and right.
Mark says
Flatnard. Flatnard is awesome.
Flatnard's good.
Yeah.
Mark here says, simply blown away by this incredible experience. I'm on chapter 12 and I already can't wait to play again. Congrats to you all. It's brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Harold here says, what's up, Flarkers?
What's up?
Yeah.
You little Flarker.
Get over here, Al.
Are you guys excited for the Spider-Man movie?
Yes.
Sure. Yeah,
definitely.
Yes.
110%.
If you can get a ticket.
If you can get tickets, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Shit. Kudos to Adios Montreal for putting this together and taking a stand, implementing a 4-day work week in response to industry pressure. Is that right?
That's true. Yeah, I heard that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
incredible.
Yeah. Lisa, virtual photography. All of your performances were so incredible. The game is perfect. Love heart.
Thanks, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa.
Shout out to you, Lisa. I love your stuff.
I could literally go on all day reading these. There's so many. If you want to pick me up, guys, come back to this video.
Oh, we will.
Someone tell me they kept the scripts. I want the Groot translations.
Oh.
Send them, Rob.
We have the digital one. They were super helpful. I loved having the translations. It was great.
Oh, yeah.
I will say there were days I showed up though when I was just doing a whole bunch of the barks and oh-nos essentially for the combat stuff in the game, where sometimes it was just like hundreds of I Am Groots, and a fair deal of the time there would be very accurate descriptions of placement, or we go back and watch the video because they cared. And other times it was like, say it 10 times, you're in this situation. And you're like, okay. So I think in the game, we calculated there was something around like 1,540 I Am Groots that made it into the game, I think. And I probably said the line a few thousand times.
That is insane, guys, because
That's
like
wild.
I can't even give you 3 different takes. Do you know what I mean? Like my range is like this compared to you. I mean,
it's your heart. It was fun. I did an acting technique that was very focused on, it's not about the words, it's all about
the intention.
The intention and playing off of the people around you. And I had the best people to play off of. So in a scene, as long as I knew contextually where I was, what I was doing. I just tried to keep Groot in the moment, just played from the heart in the moment, and then reacting off of what I was getting from everybody else.
I feel like 80% of the time I didn't know how I was gonna like say my lines until I heard what you guys were giving me. Like you guys set the tone, and I just like I feel my whole experience has been like, follow the leader. Just keep up with the gang.
So there's an audio guy out there that's heard I Am Groot 1,600 times in his work life.
Yeah.
And he's hearing it as he goes to sleep every night now.
For sure. Absolutely.
That's amazing.
We should turn it into a song, a hit song. Just I Am Groot.
Rob, do you have a favorite delivery off the top of your head of I Am Groot in the game? I can think of one, but
I'd be curious what your favorite would be. I have a few that are very near and dear to my heart. Go for yours first.
I'll tell you mine first, just in case. Yeah, there is a scene. It's fairly early in the game, so it's not too spoilery, but Rocket and I are
I know this one.
Ready with our guns because there is a massive banging at the door, and we think it's something we just released.
Cleaner bots.
Cleaner bots. Anyways, there's this big ominous banging that's about to come through the door, and Rocket and Star-Lord are guns ready, like just ready to go blazing. And the door opens and Rocket lets off a round and he shoots, and it's Groot, and it hits Groot, and Groot is like, "Oh, Groot!"
So good. What the Flark?
Yeah, literally what the Flark. And that one has always stuck with me. It was so brilliant. And I remember on the day I absolutely broke down crying, laughing so hard because it was so brilliant.
Oh man.
That was for sure one of my favorite ones. There was one I had gotten called back in to do a pickup to get added into a scene that had been done because sometimes they had to move around who was shooting at the same time. And most games I would work on, they would just, have the actor do it as a one-off. And it was a very emotionally important moment for me. The director even quoted back something that I had told him that I felt towards the character that was very emotional. He's like, it's that moment for me now. Like, I want to see that moment from you. And he stood in the room with me to do the scene. But instead of just having me act off of him, he called Alex back into the room. And it was a scene that had to deal with Groot's promise, where when people are talking about what they saw, and I just had to look at Alex, and then it was very heartbreaking to be able to speak that. It's like, it made me super emotional to look at him. And we were answering Reddit questions the other day, and that was one of my main answers, was just, it's not a spoiler to talk about Groot's past. People know Groot's character, but just for a character that's lost everything. And then in the context of this game, what Groot's promise would have been, and then to come back out of that and how you would react a second time. It was really nice to have Alex in the room. Some actors, when they're not in the coverage of the shot, they won't necessarily give you a performance. And Alex was like the most open and willing participant. It was the same for everybody. It's like everybody just wanted to help the other person's performance. So that was one of my favorites. Obviously, every time that there was like the heightened emotional stuff, I really liked it. The stuff around Fing Fang Foom too, I had some fun with those. But yeah, there were so many. I just like... there was the joke every day that I show up to work, and obviously I was off book because I had one line to say.
You off book, Rob?
Yeah.
You learn your lines?
These guys have like these monologues, super technical, all these busy words. I'm like, okay. But at the same time, it's like it became very... I think at one point I was even asked, like, what are you saying there? And I knew the exact thing from the script that the writers had written in terms of what their... Because they wouldn't write intention, they would write context, right? But it doesn't give an emotional context to how to play the line. It would be more if it was like, we should go over there. Well, we should go over there could be said an infinite number of ways. So it just helped to say like, oh, I'm coming up with the solution, but do I want to ease into telling them, or do I want to yell like guys? So yeah, I
love Groot.
Well, thank you. When I got the part, it was funny, as I had auditioned a number of times. And each time I'd come back, you're getting your hopes up more and more. And then the final day that I went in, and they let me go, and I think it was Steve walked me back to the elevator, and it was a little bit of like I think it's good. And the elevator, and I was standing there like, yeah, and the elevator doors closed, and I was alone in the elevator. I was like riding the elevator down, just like, please. Because you asked how we felt about the MCU, and for me, the We Are Groot killed me when I watched that film. I was like, I full on broke down in that movie, and then to stand in an elevator and be like, "You are Groot," and you go down the elevator and you're like, it was a dream come true. I mean that.
What about for the other guys? Like, what was your favorite scene? I know it's a generic question, but I genuinely want to know what was your favorite scene, and if it is a spoiler, like maybe dance around it a little bit. But
my favorite scene is the scene for Gamora. It was very challenging, just because you know, off the top, I was very like physically it was exhausted, and I think we had shot it later in the week. We were pretty, like, after a week of shooting, we're pretty done, like vocally and physically. And I remember just losing my voice. My voice was cracking, and I was just like beating myself up because I'm like, Kim, like, you were hired for your voice here. Like, you got to show up. But I didn't know what to do. I was, you know, lack of experience in the voice department. But Darryl, our director, just kept saying, like, just lean into it. It works. It works because at that moment, Gamora is cracking under pressure. Like, allow your voice to just tell the story. And so it was challenging for me to sort of let go of what I wanted to do. And in the end, it's like, it's a really powerful scene. I'm glad that he gave me permission to just be in it and experience it, like, almost as Kim.
What was it like watching that scene? Like, I'm guessing you've seen it since.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a beautiful scene because I feel like, you know, she's like an outsider and she's an assassin, and, you know, Drax doesn't trust her. But that's the scene where they're a family. They become a family. And there's this beautiful moment where they're all standing in a circle and Groot puts his arms or his tree trunks around them. And it's just like so heartfelt. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I agree. What about you, Jason? I'd be interested to know yours.
There's two. The one that's a supplemental scene that you'll miss if you're not exploring a certain area fully. The Rift.
Yeah.
I'll probably say that one's my favorite because, and I want to shout out to Darryl here because I asked him this the other day on a Zoom meeting. That scene I worked really hard. Well, I worked hard on everything, but that scene I just had so many ideas, and it's probably the first time I've seen something that I've done that came out looking the way it did in my head. And I imagined it, shot for shot, cut for cut, moment for moment. This is exactly how I would have cut it myself, have edited it myself.
Wow.
And again, you know, like, I don't want to make this like a mutual love fest, but of course it is. I mean, half the success goes to Jon because when I looked in his eyes, he was looking back. It's hard to explain if you've never performed, you know, and you have to perform under pressure, how intense that can be. You have to get it right, like in a limited amount of time. And there's been a lot of times where, you know, stuff doesn't quite come out the way you want it to for various reasons, but this one was entirely successful, and everything was firing on all cylinders, so it worked. And the other scene, well, is the one later in the game where it's a little bit more emotional. I have a love-hate with that one. I mean, I still have a hard time to watch it But yeah, I guess it was successful. I guess it worked. I was kind of flying blind, if you know what I mean. Just sort of.
Yeah.
I got caught up in it. I got caught up in what was going on. But again, you have your team as your safety net to catch you if things don't quite work out. I do remember one interesting thing, and this is I wanted to ask one of the animators. Sometimes when you play scenes like that, your voice will crack or your body will do things that are uncontrollably because you're in the moment, right? And I recall seeing an early version of the scene that was not fully rendered or fully, it wasn't polished. The animation wasn't polished. And I know at one point my face did something weird, and I know that can happen. And I remember looking at that going, oh God, even though it's genuine, it looks weird. And I noticed that in the final scene, that little twitch or that little thing that I did is gone. So I guess it's weird because sometimes you can have an honest, genuine, emotional moment, but on screen doesn't quite look right. And I was like, yeah, I'm glad they actually took that out because it probably looked a little strange. I don't know if anyone knows what I'm talking about.
I mean, we were in the very fortunate position that Darryl Purdy, our cinematic director, was also the animation director.
Yeah.
And and that makes a world of difference because a lot of the time cinematic directors, especially nowadays, they're brought in from film, they're brought in from other areas. They don't necessarily read those subtle things that can throw off a performance because they're not thinking of the physicality and how it all comes together. And so having him there, you had a lot of trust that we could put in Darryl to know that he and the whole animation team would clean us up and put out the best version of the product that we were trying to present.
Also, Darryl is I think he's a great actor. And I oftentimes would ask him for a line read because, either I was just tired and not getting there. And I was just like, Darryl, just I need to hear it. And he would he's so good. He's got such great ideas and he'd be like, oh, no, not that. Okay, try this intention. You know what? Try that intention. Always speaking with intention. And then if you needed a line read, he would just give it to you. And it was like, damn.
Yeah, that's gold for an actor.
I've never worked with a director who could give you a legit good line read.
Yeah, he's super sensitive, like in the best way. Like he's able to kind of feel kind of what you're trying to get at with the character, and he's able to like, really help.
Did anyone else have this?
The craft.
Did anyone else have this where when you had a particularly heavy day coming up, and he would ask you which scenes do you want to shoot first?
Yeah.
That's when I went. That guy's legit.
He's incredible.
And I feel like most of us were like first up in the morning. Like maybe like the second scene of the day, because sometimes if we waited after lunch, like mid-afternoon, we would all like crash.
Yeah, right. Wow. What about you and Jon and Alex? Any scenes? I'll just ask you guys quickly as well.
You go first, Jon. I know you wanna.
No, you go first. You first.
No, you first.
Okay, fine. No, I get asked this, and I really genuinely have a hard time with this question. Again, I said it earlier, but like I was fortunate to work with almost all the actors on this game, especially where the heavy scenes are concerned. So it is really hard for me to name or nail down just one because I love them all for different reasons. The one that Jason said is very near and dear to my heart. That was a really great scene. There's more stuff. I don't want to go into spoiler, but there's Drax at the Rift. There's scenes with Carell, both in the elevator and later in the game. There's one that I won't spoil. Multiple scenes with Nikki. Like there's so many incredible scenes where, again, like we would do the scenes and we'd say cut and we'd look around the room. The Gamora scene, even there's ones with Rocket too, which I absolutely love because you don't get to see that side of Rocket often. But you look around the room and people they're either crying because they're laughing so hard or they're crying because the scene is so heavy, and it's kind of impossible for me to pick one. It really is, but I'm just grateful that I had the opportunity to do all of these incredible scenes and that the writing team wrote such incredible dialogue for us to play off. Like it's it's really a team effort at the end of the day, as Jason said.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it takes the people across from you, it takes the writing, it takes the animators, putting it all together and stitching it together. It's a family ordeal. It really is. So,
Alex.
Yeah, for myself, my favorite scene as a player and as an audience member is actually the scene where Quill explodes on the team after the world mine, and the team's all arguing.
Oh,
and
yeah.
That scene just like hit me, and I was like, wow, because we've been really like light and having fun and quirky, and then it gets real serious. And just kudos to Jon, man. It's like really hit me, and that performance was amazing. My favorite scene as a performer, and this was a scene I think that I learned a little bit about. It really informed something about my process as an actor. It's the scene where Rocket overcomes the scene of water, and then at the end there's that moment where he says we're a team, and he accepts the team, and he comes out of the water. And that scene, we recorded that later in the process, I'd say. So you can imagine spending 2 years, let's say. Let's be honest, Rocket is very prickly, he's very angry a lot of the time, and that's his arc, right? And I think we needed that in the game. But I spent a long time being in that place and anticipating that scene coming up. And I'm like, okay, this is where Rocket has to change, or Rocket has to accept something. And if you look at the scene, it's not very long, right? He comes out of the water and he's like, still not dead, we're a team. And I remember that day I was with Darryl, and I was just kind of like talking to him, and I'm like, we were just looking at each other, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to feel this one out, And I was kind of scared of it because I'm like, there's not a lot. It's like 3 lines and it's a small moment. So I decided to just let it go. And I'm not really going to try to push anything. I'm just going to see what happens. So it was really funny because I think we did 1 take or 2, and we did the first take, and it was like, we're a team. And then, all right, let's get the hell out of here. And I remember I was like, is that right? Like, I feel like I didn't milk it. I feel like I didn't really go for anything. And Darryl just he's like, I love it. That's what you get from Rocket. And it's true. That is what you get, because even though he's changed, he's still a Rocket, and people have different ways of changing. And I think that's a huge thing we see in this game. All these characters have trauma, and all these characters need different things to change, and they all change in different ways to different extents, and they still have a fuzzy little prickly core, some of them, so it taught me a little bit about trusting my team too, because they were all there around me, and I looked at each and every one of your faces and felt that. And then it also taught me, like, sometimes you don't need to throw a lot on it, you just need to be the character, be in the moment, and just do what you feel, and it should be enough. And so for me, that was a really really important moment, I'd say. Yeah.
Samuel here says, I really laughed at Drax when he tried to say the phrase between a rock and a hard place, and the facial animation is just as amazing.
His lines are amazing.
Yeah,
I gotta sometimes say, sometimes it was very rare that a line would come up where we'd be like, would Drax say that? Is that a Drax line? Because the voices were so clear. Every character had a very defined voice. But I remember Jason, a few times you were like, you said it. I don't think Drax would say that, and I thought that was it says a lot about how close
it was usually a
characters.
It was usually a word. Like, we tried a couple of times. I remember maybe midway in the script, just calling him Peter instead of using his full name, and it sounded weird.
And
I can't really logically explain why it sounded off, but it just sounded off to just say Peter. It maybe sounded too intimate. Maybe Drax just realizes Peter Quill is that's his full name, and that's how you use it. But there would sometimes there'd be a word or something that we would change, or a phrase that just didn't sound, for whatever reason, sound correct. It might be a colloquialism or contractions like don't, won't, we're always, will not, do not, stuff like that, but never anything very big.
Richard, I believe the composer's in here. Richard.
He is.
Thanks to all the amazing actors and writing in the game, I composed the score, and the riff scene is probably my favorite scene I've ever scored. in a game.
Wow.
Thank you.
Huge.
That's
Thank
huge.
you.
Yeah.
That's
It's just as much his scene as it is ours.
Yeah.
I hope you know that, Richard. Like I
Oh,
said,
music.
it's a team, man. It's music, it's animation, it's the actors, it's everything.
Richard, I've actually put some of your combat music as my workout music because some of it is like really heart pumping and awesome. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, I call music the sixth member of the team. You know what I mean? That's
cool.
Yeah.
I thought that was Cammy.
I mean, it is.
Yeah. Okay, 7.
No, guys, it's Gubbins. It's Gubbins. No one ever talks about Gubbins.
Oh.
Music first, then Cammy, then Gubbins.
Okay, I'll live with that.
Thanks to all of you for keeping my spirits high through the world events. Fun is important, and this was a real bright spot in 2021 for a lot of people.
You're welcome.
God, it honestly got.
Thank you.
We got through the pandemic thanks to this game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you, Eidos Montreal.
Is there anything you guys want to say to the fans as we wrap this one up, guys? Start with you, Jace.
Thank you. I'm overwhelmed by the response. Thank you very much. I can't even possibly begin to express my gratitude. I love you all. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Rob?
He said he loves you.
Yeah.
Can we get a translation?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, you never know how something's going to land until it's out there and people can actually play it. And that's the most beautiful part, is seeing that reaction. And it's so much different than film and TV when you work in games, because people are playing the story. And in our game, especially, people get to make choices that have consequences and payoffs. And it's not you can choose your pathway, and it's beautiful to see that fans can interact that way and tell a story the way they want and have replayability. I'm looking forward to going back and playing it again, just to try out different ways of going through it. So so thank you to everyone who's played it and continues to play it, and you mean the world to us. Thank you.
Alex?
Look, as someone who's played video games since I got my N64 when I was 9 years old, I've lived a while playing them. Now I got to act in one, and I'm just really honored to be a small part of a community as amazing as you guys, the video game community, which I think is inclusive, and I think it's really, really progressive, and I think we're the future, and I really appreciate all of you and the support that you give the games that you enjoy. So thank you very much. Can't do it without you.
Jon and Kim?
Well, I'd like to everything that they've been saying, it's just I feel like I've been wanting to break into the video game world for 10 years now. And finally, we're here. So I feel really grateful, but also very excited to be engaging with the fans. You guys are flarking awesome. And you guys can find us on social media. Just come and hit us up. We're happy to talk, answer your questions. We're just very excited to be a part of this community.
Yes, thank you guys, everyone. There's not much left to say because you guys took all the answers.
He's gonna tear up. Just watch.
It really has been, this whole thing, start to finish, has been literally a dream come true. For me, as Alex said, I've been a lifelong gamer since I was old enough to hold a controller, play games, and now to be in one, it's just been an honor. It's been a dream come true, and the love that you guys have shown, the players, the fans, the community, all the photos, people reaching out with nice words, hitting us up in the DMs. It's just thank you. I don't have words. I don't. It's been so incredible and getting emotional.
And Dan, thank you so much for having us.
Dan, thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Dan.
My pleasure, guys.
You're a lovely host.
We'll appreciate it.
You guys are fucking awesome. I don't say that lightly, okay?
Awesome.
Likewise, brother.
Amazing game. Where can we find you on social medias, guys? Twitter, Instagram?
I'm on Instagram at K-Sue Murray. That is my my one and only social media platform.
I'm
all I
on
can handle.
Instagram. Oops, sorry. I'm on Instagram at JCav108 and on Facebook under my name. You can find me. That's about it.
You can find me on. Oh, sorry. You can. No worries.
I'm done.
Are you?
Kind of.
You can find me at officially a Weiner on Instagram. You get it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Instagram, TikTok, and Twitch. If anybody plays Magic the Gathering, I'm a huge Magic the Gathering player, and we do Monday Night Magic every Monday, 5 to 7 Eastern time.
Nice. Rob and John?
I don't really have anywhere. I would be happy to answer stuff on Reddit though, like we did the other week.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
if questions appear in there, I'll hop on there to answer questions or chat or whatever.
I know, guys. Hit me up, and I will relay. I will forward the message to Rob.
Kim is Rob's personal assistant.
Oh.
I've got too many. I'm the opposite of Rob. I've got too many social platforms. I'm on
You got
Instagram,
everything.
Twitter. I've got everything. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. It's just my name, Jon McLaren. I'm on Twitch. I stream usually 3 times a week or so. Jon McLaren IRL. I'm on YouTube at the same Jon McLaren IRL, and TikTok as well. Jon McLaren.
Beautiful.
I'm all over it.
Before I let you guys go, I have to ask if we can get something in the characters, like a line or something from everyone. Is that possible?
Yeah.
We need a viral clip here, guys. Come on.
I feel like this was my line. Like that was the most recurring line. Was like, Peter, because he's always fucking up.
Eternally. Here's one. Whoa, guys! Who left the Flark and fridge open?
My ship.
Oh.
My ship.
My ship.
And it's Milano.
Milano.
Potato.
I shall bid you all the happiest of ceremonious gatherings this holiday season.
Oh,
nice.
I mean,
Nice.
Jason is like always.
He is Drax. He's just there.
He's just Drax.
Thanks, Muscles.
I could do the war yell of I Am Groot. I'll turn down my mic though a bit, and scare my neighbors. But
do it.
I am Groot.
Nice.
Woo! We can't honor it better than that, guys. I really appreciate you all for coming in, and to all the fans watching, we really appreciate you tuning in, and make sure to follow these beautiful humans and their incredible careers to come. Thank you so much, guys, for stopping by.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Appreciate it, guys. I'll talk soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
The greatest interviewer of all time. Dan Allen Gaming. If there's one podcast you want to hear this year, it's Dan Allen Gaming.
Dan, we've got a job to do.
Mr. Allen, I've been waiting for you, Mr. Dan Allen. Anyone who's anyone has heard of the likes of you, especially your YouTube channel. It's amazingly entertaining. Good job.
This is Geralt of Rivia, and you're watching Dan Allen Gaming. Yeah.
This is Agent 47. Subscribe to Dan Allen Gaming. He's a great guy.
I always knew we were destined for something great to happen. A lot of people want to change their cards, not me. I like the hand we've been dealt.
I'm gonna come find you, little man thing.
Dan, I knew you'd love me. Come on now.
Just a little taste.
Dan Allen Gaming. He's a lovely boy.
Super Dan, you number one. Woohoo!
This is Colt calling out to Dan the Animal Allen. I'm gonna break this fucking loop, or I'm gonna break your neck.
You're watching Dan Allen Gaming, and you're going to regret it.
Dan, you and I are gonna take back the universe for humanity.
We're having a problem with Metal Gear, and I need your help. So contact me by codec, damn it.
Dan Allen, you and I going dark now.
Are you being cheeky, Dan?
I like to keep this for close encounters.
Tune in to Dan Allen Gaming, or else I'm coming after you. You're fucking down.
I've been interviewed by Dan Allen of Dan Allen Gaming. Not to be mistaken for Van Allen. You know the belts? No, not the same guy. Not even related. Okay, Jackie out.
All the best to you. Just don't cross me.
Dan Allen Gaming, you have got to be one of the best things to come out of Australia. Did you know that? You and me, we would have been unstoppable. Anyways, outlaws for life, partner.
Your face, your ass, what's the difference?
It's okay, Dan. I know you didn't mean to hurt me.
But you shouldn't have done that. It fucking hurts!
Let's find out if Dan Allen Gaming really is the best fucking show in town.
Dan! You eat babies! Everybody knows that!
There you have it, everybody. Thank you to that incredible cast. What a treat that was for me to have those guys on. One of the best casts in a game that I've ever played. Incredible stuff. Love to all of them. Really fun time. That was nearly 2 hours long we had, so I really appreciate them taking the time with us. And you're not going to get that access to all 5 at once very often. That's pretty historic event, which I'm really thankful that they came on. And again, make sure you follow those guys on all social platforms. Dogboy, thanks for becoming a member again, brother. Let's go, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate the support, brother. Just Vincent, a great host. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Next interview, who is it, guys? Well, I might announce it right now. How does that sound? This is one of the biggest guests to come on. I've done over 70. We've nearly had over 80 guests now, if you count those 5. Incredible stuff. I can't believe it's nearly been a year. Tomorrow is the 1 year anniversary. Would you believe that? Since I started doing the interviews. Now, my next guest, I'll announce it in 5 minutes. All right. It's a big one. Rena, how you doing? I appreciate it. Rena. Could you talk about your impressions before starting the game compared to after? For Guardians, yeah, I mean, I was interested to see the game. I wasn't expecting anything in particular from it. And to be honest, I wasn't expecting it to be that good. If I'm perfectly honest, it blew my expectations. Seriously, it was such a good game, and I hope it wins some awards or something, because it's really a surprise hit of the year. Soundtrack was so good, really good, with a blend of licensed music and of Richard's score and of Steve's Star-Lord band. I mean, all 3 coming together. Amazing stuff. You've got the facial work, some of the best you'll ever see in a game, right? The performances were incredible from everyone. Not just that main cast. You got some of the other characters as well that were incredible. gameplay was a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be when I saw the trailers. And yeah, I mean, it just all came together. Writing was fantastic. A lot of soft, heartfelt moments we talked a little bit about that really came through as well. So I really enjoyed it. And that was a really wholesome chat with those guys. Now, my next guest, who could it be, guys? Who could it be? Do you hear that? What is that? That's right. Steve Downes, baby. Master Chief. Master Chief, Steve Downes is coming on the show. I'll be covering Halo Infinite. Do I have access to the game right now? I can't tell you if I do or if I don't. What I can tell you is he will be coming on very, very shortly. Once the game comes out, maybe a week after the game comes out, sometime around there. So stay tuned for an announcement on socials. But we got him. Got him. One of the most iconic characters in history. So I can't wait. I really can't wait. He's incredible. How good's the music too? Alright guys, thanks for tuning in. I hope you had a blast, because I did. Have a great day, guys. Leave a like, subscribe. Take care.